following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. On this Tuesday edition of Main Street Sports Today, the guys welcome Russell Vannozzi, Main Street Preps. Also, Chip Walters of the Blue Raider Network talking MTSU. Also, the announcements of the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. A lot of conversation there. Continued reaction to the Tennessee Titans. And Top 5 Tuesday. All that straight ahead on the Tuesday edition of Main Street Sports Today. Now, your host, the Hall of Famer and NSMA Sports Writer of the Year, Mo Patton, and the Sundrop Kid from Alabama, Chris Yao.
Welcome into this Tuesday edition, a Top 5 Tuesday it is, and looking forward to a phenomenal show as we have a couple of great guests as well as a lot of conversations to be had, Mo. It's going to be a really exciting day. We've got Hall of Fame talk. We've got NFL, Chip Walters. Of course, it's Top 5 Tuesday. Just a lot to get to today, and it's going to be a lot of fun because, well, Top 5 Tuesday always brings out the best in us, especially when we're scrambling to find a topic.
Yeah.
We do a really good job of that, though.
We do our best stuff under pressure, right? So, hey, here we go.
No question there. Plenty to get to. It's going to be a lot of fun, as JP told you, and we have a pretty big top story coming your way here momentarily as well. We've got some high school sports happening tonight. We're going to talk to Russell Vannozzi of Main Street Preps about the Main Street Preps Fab 15 on the boys and girls sides, but also we will get into tonight's games and the biggest games around the mid-state. So you're going to want to keep it here for that. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Mo, tell me how Monday went for you.
Pretty quiet. I mean, we got the newspaper done. That will be out on Rex tomorrow. We got the show done, and
if you want tomorrow's news today, Mo, you can come by 315 West 7th Street in Columbia and grab a paper out of the rack. Last week's papers were gone.
That's a good thing.
Gone. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, other than the fact that I didn't get one, but yeah.
I didn't either.
Yeah, so cool.
You better get one while you can if you're coming by here.
They're just flying off the racks, huh? Literally.
They really are. You can probably grab some at Foodland and other places around town as well. But yeah, you're right. Getting the paper done is pretty quick. You know, that's something that you kind of feel, all right, I'm getting my week off to a good start. We got the paper out. Let's go on to the next thing.
Yeah. So, but yesterday for me, it was fairly quiet after we got the show done. So I just kind of vegged, which really is good because so much of my Sunday goes into Monday's paper.
That's the thing. You know, a lot of people don't really, you're like, well, I mean, Monday's a work day. It is kind of, but not really. I mean, not much you can do on Monday to get in the paper because, you know, it's already being processed. And then all the other stuff, you know, you've worked on it on Saturday and Sunday. So yeah, anyway.
It's processed, but nobody wants to hear about all that. You know,
they don't.
They just want, but they do want to get it in their hands clearly since this week's were out when you got there today. So, and
they were out yesterday. So
that's a good thing.
It is exciting.
And I think you're going to want to see the one that's, I guess, in the racks now. So a lot of good stuff in there.
There definitely is. And there will be some next week as well, including some results and box scores from yesterday. So why don't we give them yesterday's results and tonight's schedule on the rundown?
This is the rundown. This is your Tuesday Rundown brought to you by Jim Davis at Grow Live Give. Visit them at growlivegive.com or give them a call at 615-682-0022. Securities offered through IFP Securities, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, IFP member, FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through IFP Advisors, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, Registered Investment Advisor. IFP and Grow Live Give are not affiliated.
Monday high school basketball action on the boys' side. It was Franklin Road Christian defeating host Zion Christian 62-31. Loretto with the 49-47 win over Mae Jemison of Alabama. In girls basketball action, it was Franklin Road Christian defeating Zion Christian 51-32 and Loretto 81, Mae Jemison 31. Junior college women's basketball action in a makeup from earlier this month. Cleveland State defeated host Columbia State 68-60. And in men's play at the Web, it was the Chargers 67, Cleveland State 42.
Tonight's action in high school hoops. Franklin Road Academy is at Columbia Academy. Hampshire travels to Collinwood. Spring Hill hosting Lawrence County, while Mount Pleasant goes to Giles County. And Culleoka will host Santa Fe in a Big 10A matchup.
Also in 10AA, Summertown goes to Lewis County. Summit is at Nolensville in a 12-4A matchup. In 10A, Wayne County goes to Richland, and Zion Christian is on the road at Franklin Classical. Also in high school wrestling this evening, the Region 7 AA Duels tournament is at Summit. Semifinal action has Brentwood against the host Spartans, and Nolensville and Franklin starting at 6. The semifinal the championship matchup will follow, with both finalists advancing to sectional action later this week.
In NHL action tonight, it's a 9 p.m. puck drop because the Preds are out west. They take on the Kraken. You can see that game on Bally Sports South. In NCAA men's action, Alabama is at Georgia. It's a 5:30 tip on the SEC network, and that's going to do it for today's rundown. Man, my throat is dry. I'm over here drinking water, I'm drinking everything I can get my hands on, and it's rough. But today's opening kick, Mo, comes from the world of the National Football League. Pretty big news, as our friends in the Big Easy be looking for a new football coach. Sean Payton says he will not return to New Orleans. Pretty significant news there.
I'd say so. Given the success that he and they have had over the past few years, that's a big deal. They missed the playoffs this year. It's the first time in a while, I would think. And according to CBS Sports, he is not necessarily retiring, but may return to NFL after a break, which kind of leads me to believe that he is not planning to coach this year. But, nobody's saying that one way or the other, and certainly he's not saying anything right now. So there's a lot left to conjecture here.
It's certainly interesting because, Sean Payton has been a staple, obviously, in New Orleans. Won Super Bowl twice. I know they played for 2. They lost one.
Yeah, they won it in 2009, defeated Indianapolis. He's been there since 2006. 152-89 in the regular season, 9-8 in the postseason.
52-89?
152.
Oh, I was like, that don't sound right, but okay.
152.
Gotcha. I missed that one.
Yeah, that's a pretty big miss.
For him, yeah, he would be quick to correct me, I'm sure.
Second longest tenured head coach behind only Belichick. So that's like you said, pretty significant. And
well,
it's interesting. He's 58 years old, just turned 58 last month, which isn't old. Trust me on that.
He doesn't seem like he's even that old though.
Yeah.
That seems like a high number if you just look at Sean Payton, or, for those of us who have been looking at him on that sideline for, since 2006.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just weird to think of him to be that old. So I guess if it's take a break, man, he could be like, Garth Brooks. Garth took that break and raised his kids and then came back. Maybe that's what he wants to do. I don't know.
It's certainly going to be an interesting opening just when you think about what they've got down there to work with. You got Jameis Winston coming back off the knee. You've got Alvin Kamara. Got some pieces on the defensive side of the ball. I think it's really going to be intriguing whether they just promote Dennis Allen, who did coach them in one game when Peyton was out for COVID protocol, or what direction they go in.
I will be curious. I think it's going to be a very interesting move wherever the Saints go. Sean Payton has stepped away as Saints head coach. So I hear the USFL still needs 2 coaches. So who knows? Maybe Sean Payton's headed to Birmingham.
I thought Birmingham had a coach.
Yeah, but all the teams are playing there. So if you're going to coach, it's just where you're going to be. So
no road games, huh? Yeah.
No road. You're all. Everybody's on the road except Birmingham, I guess. Yeah. But yeah. So should be interesting to see where the Saints go from here. I will be looking forward to it, and we'll keep you up to date. But when we come back, Mo, we are going to talk some high school hoops and perhaps more. Russell Vannozzi, he's big in the Nash Cup, so may find out what's going on in some high school hockey as well. So Russell Vannozzi, Main Street Preps editor, will join us. Come back on Main Street Sports Today. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We do come to you from the Lee Company studio, and we are glad to do so. Looking forward to the rest of today's show. As we were coming out or going out of the first break and mention that there may be some other news to mention as far as high schools go. Mo, it looks like Glencliff is now in the market for a football coach, and obviously it's been a tough place to coach in recent memory. I couldn't tell you obviously anything before that, but Mike Passon is stepping away from coaching to finish his second master's degree. He said he's been sitting on 15 hours, needed to complete it for 14 years. That's tough. You know what? I don't blame him.
Better late than never. Yeah. Go finish that up, Mike. Yeah. It's Glencliff has been a tough go, and that's yet another opening, I guess, here in the last 24 hours or so, because yesterday it was announced that Bill Whittemore was stepping away over at Franklin Road Academy after 10 seasons. They've been a bit more successful under Whittemore over at FRA. Former Mr. Football at Brentwood High School. So, a couple of openings in the Nashville area, and just some of the abundance of news that you can find on MainStreetPreps.com.
That's right. And let's talk about some of that news as we welcome in the editor of MainStreetPreps.com, Russell Vannozzi. Russell, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
Doing well, gentlemen. Thanks for having me. How are you guys doing today?
It's Tuesday. Pretty well explains it.
Yeah.
The good thing is we got some high school hoops tonight, so that's exciting. Are you going anywhere to cover some games tonight?
That's
Russell?
exactly right. I will be at the East Nashville at Pearl Cone games, so that should be a packed house there. I saw that it's a sellout, and of course the first meeting between those two teams a couple weeks ago was absolutely packed, and East Nashville came away with wins in both of those games. So we'll see if Pearl Cone has any kind of answer tonight.
I like the way you and Tyler kind of share the wealth on that one, because I think Tyler went to the first game, and so you're going to this one, and that one never disappoints, that matchup. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This is the first time I've gone to that game, so really fired up about that matchup, and glad to be here to talk hoops and anything else you guys have high school wise.
Well, why don't we start with the Fab 15 that came out yesterday, and the girls, how difficult is it to come up with the top 5 or 6 girls teams, or 7, I guess, because Loretto sits at number 7. It's, I mean, this area is full of fantastic girls basketball.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Chris. I mean, it is, and we saw that at the championships last year. I mean, Middle Tennessee completely dominated the girls basketball championships, and wouldn't be surprised if the same thing happens this year when you look at these rankings. Just to give you the top 5, as you see to scroll across your screen there, you got Blackman number 1, Innsworth number 2, the Webb School number 3, Cookville number 4, and Page at 5. And I was joking with Tyler Palmentier, our Nashville sports reporter who put together these girls rankings this week, that we probably need a top 25 for girls, because there's just so many other teams that were right there on the cusp that, East Nashville's 15-1. They're not even in the rankings. And there's several other teams like that. So yeah, no, to answer your question, Chris, it was very difficult to rank these, and there's still a lot of time for these teams to either move up or move down over the last month of the season.
Well, it's a tough ticket, and it should be. I mean, it's your top 15. It's like you said, it's not the top 25, and it really kind of pushes you guys, but at the same time, you're really dealing with the cream of the crop there. So we talked to Brady McAtamney last week, and he was talking to us about this Rossview team that comes in at number 11, and they went 3-0 this past week, moving up to number 11 from 14. And there's just a lot of depth when you look at Brentwood at number 14. There's a lot of good girls basketball being played around here, like you said.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And another team that stands out to me is Rockvale. That was a new entrant this week, and I saw them play Cane Ridge last week and really just kind of beat the brakes off of Cane Ridge, and followed that up by beating Oakland on Friday. So that's a really good start for them. And it's only their third season as a new school and as a program. So it'd be pretty cool if they could make a run. But yeah, Coach Bill Hockenberry's doing a great job and wrote a feature last week on Tony Davis, their star player. Is actually the younger sister of Brene Alexander, Vanderbilt's leading scorer right now. So yeah, Rockville, kind of a newbie in that Murfreesboro scene, but they're right in the mix this year.
On the boys' side, pretty easy number 1 and number 2. After that, it gets a little crazy, and Columbia Central coming in at 16-2 at number 5. They've got a huge one tomorrow night, and we're going to talk. I'm sure we're going to talk about this one at some point, Mo. Independence and Columbia playing basically for the number 1 spot right now in that district, and boy, that's going to be a great basketball game. Independence also coming in at number 14 in those rankings.
Yeah, Independence, I believe they've been living on the edge lately. They were the ones that had a couple of 2-point wins the last couple of times they've been out there, and of course Columbia's put together a great season. When I was talking with Tyler, we kind of agreed that we think Beach, Brentwood Academy, Cane Ridge, and Innsworth are kind of like tier 1, and then tier 2, not far behind at all, is Columbia, East Nashville, CPA, Pope Prep, and so on. But we really feel like Beach, Brentwood Academy, those could probably flip-flop either way, 1 or 2. Cane Ridge and Innsworth, none of those teams have lost. In fact, they've combined for 9 losses. Cane Ridge and Innsworth, of course, have all the losses because Beach and Brentwood Academy are still undefeated. But of those 9 losses, 8 of them were to teams out of state at some sort of tournament over Christmas or Thanksgiving. And the 9th loss was Innsworth's 7-point loss to Brentwood Academy. So outside of that, they haven't lost anybody else in these rankings. So we feel like those are the 4 best teams. And I guess until proven otherwise, that's what we've got.
It looks like Lebanon has kind of lost market share after their hot start. I think one of Columbia's 2 losses was to Lebanon, and there for a while they were knocking folks off left and right. Summit beat them in the finals of their King of the Hill holiday tournament, but Lebanon's sitting there at number 9 after 3 victories last week, up from 12.
Yeah, it looks like they might be turning it around here, Maurice. They had a rough stretch there, like you mentioned, into December, early January, but they went and beat Green Hill, Mount Juliet, and Good Pasture last week. So those Green Hill and Good Pasture wins are obviously over ranked teams. Their senior forward, Aaron Alexander, had a big week. I think he averaged about 20 points per game. So that's good news if you're a Lebanon fan, because I'm sure some people were maybe starting to hit the panic button after they lost those 3 straight games. But they're back in the top 10, 19-4. With a chance to get back at Wilson Central this week after losing by 1 point to Wilson Central a couple weeks ago.
And obviously, like you said, Good Pasture still hanging in there despite losing Isaiah West with that knee injury a few weeks ago. Sitting there at number 12 with a 16-4 record.
Yeah, I'm interested to see them. I'm going out to see them on Thursday when they take on Clarksville Academy. That should be a great game. But they've kind of done it by committee. They've had a couple freshmen step up. King Curie and Jaden Jones have been excellent. King Curie was actually a pretty big part of their state tournament run last year as an 8th grader. He was called up and played. We've got a couple other veterans, Chandler Woosley, Xavier Shegog. He's a big presence in the post. And so it wasn't just a one-man team. Certainly Isaiah West is one of the top players around. He's ranked the top player in the state, according to 24/7 Sports, for the junior class. But yeah, they're making do okay, and we'll see if they're still able to kind of be that cream of the crop that they were last year without him. But yeah, so far so good if you're a Good Pasture basketball person.
Who are some of the obviously we're kind of landlocked down here and we don't get a chance to get to that greater Nashville area. Who are some of those other, players and teams that we need to watch out for? Obviously Brandon Miller and Cane Ridge, we're aware of those, but there are some other folks out there who really deserve some airtime, and maybe some folks that you've seen that you maybe didn't expect to see be really good this year, players or teams.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see Jalen Jones tonight at East Nashville. He's really great point guard and can shoot the ball well too, and he's right up there with Isaiah West as one of the most highly recruited juniors in the area and in the state. And so that's kind of an obvious one that sticks out if you're talking Davidson County. That Division II middle region, boys and girls is pretty loaded. You got Brentwood Academy, of course, Innsworth, CPA, Father Ryan, Pope Prep. I mean, the list goes on and on. Some Metro teams I was pretty impressed with last week was Hillsboro, both the boys and the girls. The girls actually held Brentwood to 11 points in the second half, and they almost ended up winning that game after being down, I think, by 15 or 20 at halftime. And they've got a nice record. I think they're 13-4. And then the boys team doesn't have a single senior on their team, but they've kind of pieced some wins together lately. I think they're pushing 10 wins. They might be about 10-6 or so. And they beat Summit, Franklin, and Brentwood their last 3 games out. And I saw the Brentwood win. Only like 2 of their guys that are in the lineup have even played varsity basketball at all before. So Hillsboro boys are a team to watch as they kind of gain more experience, and not only this year, but in the future too, because they're going to return all those players. So those are a couple of teams that stood out to me.
Hillsboro's Rodney Thweet and Cherish Stringfield quietly do a really, really good job over there with the boys and girls at Hillsboro. Cherish, former player at Vanderbilt, and Rodney, a former coach at Ravenwood back in another lifetime. But yeah, they like you said, Russell, they will definitely be a handful in that District 12-4A, along with Franklin, Brentwood, Centennial, and Overton. And I don't know if you've had a chance to see Franklin yet, Russell, but Jack Medalley, the 6'5" junior for them, is a handful. I had a chance to see him the other night when they played down at Independence, and he's a guy that can score it at all 3 levels and put it on the floor and get to the rim, and surprisingly quick, I think. Franklin with Jason Tigert, I think they're going to be a hard out once we get into the postseason.
Yeah, I think you're right. Last time I checked, they're about 16, 17-4. So they've got a nice record. And I believe last week they won on a layup against Brentwood. And then, of course, I guess they lost to Independence the other day. But yeah,
and then they lost last night by 2 as well, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember who to. Maybe Hillsboro.
Hillsboro, yeah, that's right. And they're actually playing again on Friday. So, yeah, the basketball schedule is kind of all over the place right now. But, yeah, no, Franklin is they're kind of right there. They're a little bit behind in these. They're not in these rankings just because Independence and Ravenwood have the edge over them right now. But, yeah, I mean, Franklin was, of course, had a great team last year and fell just short of the state tournament. And they lost basically their entire starting lineup. So I'm pretty impressed that, they've been able to piece together as many wins as they have so far.
Russell Vannozzi, the sports editor at Main Street Preps. We appreciate your time at Russell V_MSP, and rhymes and everything. Really easy to remember. It's really
that
easy
was not
to
my
remember.
design, but it worked out.
Well, we appreciate you as always. Of course, check out MainStreetPreps.com and check out the Main Street Preps podcast, right? You and Tyler?
That's right. Yeah, we've actually rebranded a little bit. We're calling it Main Street Preps this week, and everybody can find it just like they find this show on our social media platforms as a video. And then we're also pushing it out as a podcast afterwards. So, yeah, you can look for that. It'll be out tomorrow. And, yeah, thanks again for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Russell Vannozzi, again, Main Street Preps sports editor. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame. Not the one that Mo's in. Maybe one day, Mo. We'll get you into the Baseball Hall of Fame somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Buy a ticket. It's the only way I'm
That's
getting in. So let's talk Cooperstown when we come back on Main Street Sports Today. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports today. Mo, just before we get into outside of the high school area, arena, whatever, Brandon Miller, McDonald's All-American.
Not surprising, but well-deserved. I mean, that's good stuff.
And who was the last Metro Nashville player to be a McDonald's All-American, Mo?
You shouldn't put me on the spot like that. Boys or girls?
Boys.
Darius Garland.
Metro Nashville.
Metro Nashville. So Brentwood, so that doesn't count. I'm going to feel like an idiot when you tell me.
You might not. 1994, Hillwood.
Oh, Charles Hathaway.
There you go. I knew you'd get the name if I gave you the school.
Yeah. Wow. Has it been that long?
Apparently. According to Tyler Palmatier, he was there. So I don't know.
When Ron Mercer was McDonald's All-American, he had left for Oak Hill by then. So he was not a Metro Nashville player at that point. He played up at Goodpasture until his senior year. So that's wild.
Pretty exciting news there.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's great, for Brandon Miller, for that Cane Ridge program, for Marlon Sims over there, and for Metro Nashville. That's just fantastic exposure for the athletic program and for the city. So it's great. And he's, I had a chance to see him back before Christmas when they played down at Independence, and he is as advertised for sure.
Oh, there's definitely no question there at all. All right, let's get into
Chris, one more thing before we depart the high school arena completely. Do we want to talk about where we're going tonight, or do we want to just sneak up on folks?
Well, yeah, we can give at least give some folks a warning.
Yeah.
Creeping.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 7 miles from my house in Cullioca for that number 5 Wildcats boys team in Cullioca. And you will be?
I will be at Region 7 AA Wrestling over at Summit. Check
surprise,
that out.
Surprise, JP.
What,
going to wrestling. I mean, wrestling. Oh. Sorry, I go to wrestling. You go to wrestling.
Hey, exactly.
He should go to. He's the wrestling guy.
Well, we can swap.
Tune in Friday. Yeah, you can tune in Fridays. By the way, to the First Takedown. To my knowledge, the only podcast covering high school wrestling in the Mid-State or across the state on a regular basis.
It's probably the only high school wrestling podcast in Tennessee, if I had to guess.
I hate using only and never and that kind of thing, because as sure as you do it, something pops up and bites you.
Probably
somewhere.
the only Hall of Famer doing it.
No, that could be. That could be. That could be. But yeah, so Chris will have Santa Fe at Culleoka basketball. Also, we'll have Landon Seacrest up at his old stomping grounds as Spring Hill takes on visiting Lawrence County in District 8 AAA action. So we've got you covered. Be sure and check us out at mainstreetmurray.com later tonight or first thing in the morning if you're not a night owl. So
exactly. Speaking of Hall of Fames, baseball will announce their Hall of Fame selections at some point today.
5 o'clock Eastern.
Is it? Okay. So we will be off the air.
We will. And
this is the final shot for Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens.
Is it?
That's they are underlined on the ballot.
Wow.
So I mean, are they going to get in? Let's check the tracker and see what it says. I think Bonds is going to have a good chance.
Bonds, Clemens, Schilling, and Sosa are on the ballot for the last time, according to an article that's up on The Athletic.
Actually, Bonds and Clemens are both in, as well as David Ortiz, based on the public ballots that are available.
I wonder how many of those, or if that's enough.
Well, they need
75% of the vote, right?
Correct.
Okay.
They would need 141 of the 392 ballots or something like that. I'm not really sure. It's looking like there have been 187 public ballots, and of the 187 public ballots, Barry is on 153, Roger on 151, and Ortiz on 164.
And they need 141? That sounds like more, as John Lovitz would say, in a league of their own.
No, well, see, I'm not sure. They only know 50% of the ballots, so they'd have to continue at that pace to get in.
Interesting.
So, your thoughts? If you're making a prediction, do you think they get in?
I don't know. I mean, it certainly sounds like from that information that they're trending in the right direction. I've never really considered David Ortiz a Hall of Famer, to be honest. I think he's had a lot of big moments. I'm just not sure that the full body of work, to me, screams Hall of Fame.
It certainly doesn't scream first ballot.
Well, what changes between the first ballot and any subsequent ballot, though? I mean, either you are or you're not.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is it's not an obvious to me.
No, it's not. It's not. You can't argue with the numbers that Bonds and Clemens put up. You can certainly speculate as to how much help they had putting them up and how you feel about that. It's almost like everybody was doing it at that point. So I don't know. I'm really glad I don't have a vote relative to those two guys. But there's one guy that you and I would both really love to see get in. How is the best center fielder in Major League Baseball history doing?
49%. And I don't see it. I mean, he's only halfway. He's, fifth year, but here's the positive.
Mm-hmm.
Among first year balloters, he's at like 80%. So the more first year balloters we can get over the next 5 years, the better.
The better his chances are. Yeah.
Because it appears that the people keeping him out are the old guard.
And, I was having this conversation with a friend of mine via text yesterday, I guess. I think if he had retired as an Atlanta Brave, he'd probably be in. It feels like folks are holding the latter part of his career once he left Atlanta against him. And he was not great. But
after he turned 31, he pretty well went off the cliff.
Yeah.
And that is what Jeff Passan holds against him. Publicly.
I just don't know how that can negate what he did previously, though.
For 10 years, 10 consecutive years, he was the best center fielder in baseball, period. By every measurable statistic, he was light years better than first ballot Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr., who also, by the way, fell off a cliff later in his career due to injuries.
Well, he was kind of beat up. But so I don't know what it is that, I mean, Griffey, I guess, had superior power numbers to Andrew Jones, but besides that, I saw some numbers that he had more home runs in his Gold Glove seasons than all but 2 Major League Baseball players in history.
One of which was Willie Mays.
Yeah, and I can't remember who the other one was.
I believe it was Mike Schmidt.
I think you're right.
So, I mean,
it feels like Andrew Jones is knocking on the door, and hopefully he will continue to do so. Like you said, it seems like he's trending in the right direction.
He's definitely trending in the right direction. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to get there this year.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting that Kurt Schilling is just at 60% right now, and he was at 72.4 last year. So perhaps, and it's his 10th year too. Like, this is his final year.
Yeah, this is it for him.
He'll probably get in with the veteran committee, but anyway, Andrew Jones deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. We've said this numerous times on this show, and we're going to continue saying it forever.
Or until he gets in.
There you go. Halftime coming up right after this. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mo, the World Series trophy is going on tour.
Is it coming to Nashville?
No. We're still going to have to go see it ourselves.
Jeez. Where's it going?
Currently, it'll be in DeKalb, Georgia for the Morehouse-Tuskegee game at the Gresham Ballpark.
That's awesome.
It'll be in Cherokee, North Carolina, in Savannah, Georgia, Macon, Georgia. Does Georgia pronounce it Cairo or Cairo?
I think it's Cairo.
Just making sure. I know Illinois is Cairo.
Which is Jackie Robinson's birthplace, by the way.
Well, it's going to be there on Jackie Robinson Day, April 15th.
Boom.
And then it'll be in Alpharetta. But that's it so far.
What's the significance of Cherokee, North Carolina?
the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians high school baseball opener. Braves. I mean, I assume that's what that's supposed to be. I'm a little upset, but you can suggest a place for it to come. So,
Well,
I don't know how to get it to Nashville, what event or location we should bring it to, but
I think we bring it to First Horizon when Gwinnett is here.
well, that would be cool. That's a good yeah. Let's do that. That's what I will suggest is bringing it to First Horizon when the Stripers come. 1P.
1P. Yes.
1P. Hey,
oh yeah. 1P.
On the other side of halftime, we're going to talk about the loudest stadiums that we've ever been in. We'll talk about Joe Burrow's comments on stadium sound and whatever.
And lack thereof.
Chip Walters will join us. And, of course, it is Top 5 Tuesdays, so stick around. It's going to be fun. We'll be right back on Main Street Sports Today after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
It's the second half of Main Street Sports Today. Coming up, the guys chat with Chip Walters, Blue Raiders Network, on what's happening in the borough. Also, what's the loudest stadium you've heard? We'll get their take. And Top 5 Tuesday. Now, back to the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer and Sports Writer of the Year, the NSMA Sports Writer of the Year, Mo Patton, and the Sundrop Kid from Alabama, Chris Yap.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, and Tuesdays are always fun. Top 5. Mo says the top 5 NFL coaching openings. Are there 5?
There are 9.
There are 9? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might be one fewer NFL opening and one more college opening soon. Although I hear the Bears are going in a much different direction. They are looking to hire, it appears they're going to hire a general manager today. So I guess that's a step closer to hiring a football coach.
And you would think that would be the natural order, GM and then coach. Not everybody seems to feel that way. But interesting. I've never ran an NFL team though, so who am I and what do I know?
Exactly. I'm just gonna let them do their thing. I don't. It doesn't bother me. I do know that my favorite team isn't playing this weekend, so I'm not real worried about much in the NFL right now. So it is what it is.
We've certainly seen some interesting moves made by said team, though.
Yeah, getting rid of the assistant defensive line coach and the assistant strength coach. Both of those let go today. So, the defensive line that had 9 sacks in the playoff game. But the offensive coordinator, he's great. Hard worker, good coach. I don't need to get on that tangent.
Would you say that the offensive coordinator is a hard worker? It kind of reminds me of the old Chris Rock routine. I mean, that's what everybody's supposed to be, isn't it?
You're not supposed to get a cookie for doing what you're supposed to do. Did you want a cookie? No, I mean, to me, when you call someone, if someone was to say, if you were to ask me something about someone, say Todd Downing, and I said, well, he works hard. What does that imply?
Yeah.
That's the way I feel about it. Now, clearly, I might be wrong. I don't know.
If that's the best thing that you can tell me about him is he works hard, then we've got a problem. I feel like.
Well, anybody who watched Saturday's 3:30 NFL game also should believe that the Titans have a problem at that position, but that's neither here nor there. The Cincinnati Bengals will move on. During the Cincinnati-Tennessee game, Joe Burrow had trouble hearing his in-ear comms at times. And
didn't bother him too much.
It did, though. It forced them to, to maybe get some plays off a little quicker than maybe they wanted to. Mm-hmm. And, you could see him covering his ear holes and trying to make sure that he was able to hear. And one time they had to take a timeout because they couldn't get the play in and that sort of thing. He made a comment, and Nissan Stadium was really loud on Saturday, but he made the comment earlier in the year. This is probably mid-year, where he said, SEC stadiums are much louder than NFL stadiums. And to a large degree, I would have to say he's probably right. Now, the difference between college and pro is that you don't have in-ear comms, so you've got those big, poster boards on the sideline telling you what the play is. And I think that does make a difference in, maybe it isn't as loud, but the way you get the play in is different, so it does affect it either way. And, a couple of times they jumped off sides, a couple of times they didn't get the snap off. They had, 2 delay games, including that one that ended up giving them 3 points on the first drive. But folks in Kansas City are taking this to heart, saying, well, Kansas City Arrowhead has the loudest recorded crowd on history. Okay. Congratulations. You were loud for 5 seconds. Death Valley at night, Neyland Stadium. And did you see Cole Kubelik's tweet from today?
No.
Cole he said, I've been to NFL games, but I have a hard time believing any NFL stadium is louder than this moment right here. And it's when Tennessee picked off, what was his name? Jeff, his starting quarterback for Auburn. Anyway, first play of the game, pick 6 against Auburn in like 2000 or 90, 99, 98, something like in that era. And he's like, look, this is the loudest I've ever heard any stadium. And I've been in a lot of them.
Well, and a lot of folks, when they talk about loud stadiums, they bring it back to Neyland Stadium. And I don't know if it's the stadium design. I don't know if it's the fans. I don't know if it's all of the above or what. But, Lincoln Riley and that Oklahoma bunch, when they went in there, it made a lasting impression on them as well. and I've not been to Death Valley, unfortunately, but at night I can't imagine very many louder places than that unless it's Neyland.
I mean, Death Valley does have they hold the college record for 130 something. That the earthquake game against Auburn, but you're talking about 100,000 fans in Neyland and what 90,000 plus or 85,000 plus for an extended period, the entire game. There's not an NFL stadium, not one NFL stadium that can truly compare to the SEC, right?
Well, I mean, what's the largest NFL stadium?
Probably the dome, one of the domes. My guess would be Mercedes.
I think AT&T Stadium.
Well, yeah, you're right. AT&T has like 100. I think they're close to 100.
80.
That's so. I mean, NFL stadium capacities are much smaller.
Yeah, MetLife, which is the home of the Johnson Jets, holds 82.5. Lambeau holds 81,441, and AT&T holds 80. Those are your three largest NFL stadiums.
I've got FedEx at 82.
I've got FedEx at 79. So I don't know.
I'm looking at Wikipedia, so it could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
But even still, I mean, that's, I guess it's close. But when's the last time the Giants have had 82,000 people in there, or the Jets, or
had anything to get loud about?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, not only do they not have that many people in there, they're not cheering if they are in there. I mean, Lambeau probably gets pretty loud. If I had to guess it, what, 81,441?
They're just loud to try to stay warm, man.
It's body heat.
Yeah.
Everybody breathe at the same time.
Meanwhile, Tiger Stadium is 102,321.
Jeez. Yeah, there's no way.
So it's 20,000 people bigger, or holds 20,000 more people than the biggest NFL stadium.
So what you're saying, the answer to my question is no.
No.
There's not NFL stadiums cannot hold a candle to the SEC, at least for the extended period of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Arrowhead's going to be loud at times on Sunday. And Joe Burrow is going to have some trouble hearing out of his comms. But he's not played in anything. He's played in the same over time.
At least the same.
All right, let's get to Chip Walters to talk about some MTSU hoops and more. Blue Raiders, Chip Walters, right after this on Main Street Sports Today. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today. Mo, as you see there, Chris has a computer malfunction that just hit him. So Mo will let you bring us back and get us ready for our weekly guest.
Well, all righty then. Welcome back to Main Street Sports today. I'm Maurice Patton, along with JP Plant, pushing the buttons and sliding the slides and keeping us on the air. And as we stall for Chris to get back, want to welcome in friend of the show, voice of the Blue Raiders, Chip Walters.
You can tell just how we're in a new generation, because it used to be pushing the buttons and turning the dials. Now it's sliding the slides.
Yeah, I don't think there's any dials. There aren't any dials, are there, JP? I don't really know what JP does, to be honest.
He likes to keep it that way.
I'm still trying to figure that out myself, but yes.
He does like to keep it that way. It's 2 words, Chip, job security. But
there you
go. Chip, it was kind of unfortunate, the accommodations that the Blue Raiders made for one of their favorite Blue Raiders and the way things went, but it didn't impact the Blue Raiders. They continue to roll at the Glass House.
That's correct. And there's Chris. Nice to see him back.
No kidding.
But yeah, that's right. Middle, won their 11th straight at home on Saturday, and it was unfortunate, that the way that the Titans season ended. But for Nick McDevitt and his team, they have their formula for success within Conference USA is to number one, take care of all your business at home as much as you can, and go try to get what you can on the road. And the way the schedule has fallen, they were, scheduled to open up at home with UTSA and UTEP. Those were postponed. They have now been rescheduled. At least we have the dates. We don't have the exact times yet. But they had to go on the road, went to a couple of tough places. Rice has proven to be pretty decent. And North Texas is one of, I think, the 3 best teams in the league right now. And so you go there, you end up starting on the road, then you come home and you have a 3-game homestand. Now you turn back around and, the real estate gets a little tougher here, as you have to go to Marshall, you go to Western Kentucky, and then you go to UAB before you come home. So if you try to find a silver lining in all of that, is that with the UTEP and UTSA games having been rescheduled, you end up with more home games on the back side of the schedule than you would have. And the thought is, okay, you're getting better, and it gives Middle 2 weeks in there where they will have 3 home games in a week, and on both of those. So you try to use that to your advantage.
Saw an interesting tweet yesterday, Chip. MTSU currently ranks 142nd on KenPom. their record and point differential average against teams between 143rd and 358th, they are 10-1, and they're plus 11 basically on average. Between first and 141st, they're 0-5 and a minus 10. So pretty much they're beating the people they're supposed to beat. Now, how do you feel like you go about taking that next step?
Well, I think, and I think you use Saturday's game, this past Saturday's game against Southern Miss as an example. Middle was down 12 in the first half, 20-8, came back, cut it to 3 at halftime, and then ended up winning the game by 14 and had a big turnaround. The one thing that has been pretty consistent, and with most teams who are good defensively, that typically is what is consistent. We've talked about their depth all year. We've talked about them being good defensively, and they have been outstanding defensively. Stats are crazy. But both teams shot 8.3% from 3 on Saturday. Southern Miss was 1 of 12. Middle was 2 of 24, and missed their first 17. So there lies the answer to your question: is how do you take that up a notch for those teams, because you're about to play 2 of the next 3 are going to be rated above you. Western is going to be above you. UAB will be rated above you. Marshall probably not. They're 0-6 in the league right now with a very young team. But what you have to do is you have to combine those good defensive nights with better shooting, in particular from outside the arc. And if it's not going, be smart enough to go to the rim. And that's what happened. If you look at the stat sheet from Saturday, they still took 24 shots from outside the arc, but they also scored 48 points in the paint. So that tells me that they realized that things weren't going as well as they wanted from outside the 3-point line, and they did take it to the rim and use their depth. They forced 17 turnovers, got 19 points off those 17 turnovers. So they did the things they do well, and but you certainly have to be better offensively on the road. If you're hoping to steal one, in particular at UAB or Western, you've got to be better offensively. You have to keep your defense like it is, but you've got to be better on the offensive end.
Now, I wanted to ask you, Chip, is being better offensively, is that just putting the ball in from outside the arc, or is that passing up some of those shots? Is it better shot selection offensively?
Well, I think I could make I think I could make an argument for both of those, A and B, depending on the night. This past Saturday, to me, it looked like it was 100% getting those shots to fall, because they were getting good looks, good open looks. There are other nights when me and my partner have both, seen shots probably go up early in the shot clock, or not as good a forced 3 when that +1 pass could be made, pass up a good shot for a better shot, those kind of things. So I think, that it's not a totally clear answer on that, but it's interesting. You talk to the coaches and they say, if you come watch us practice, you wouldn't believe how well we shoot. And then you come to the game and sometimes those things happen. And it's not the first time I've ever seen that either, but the big road swing coming up for Middle. But on the flip side of that, for the Lady Raiders, they win 2 out of 3 on the road. Now they get the same 3 games against the same 3 schools at home. And with Western or Marshall and Western coming up this weekend, you've got the 2 top teams in the Eastern Division right now. Marshall 6-1, Western 7-0. You've got them coming to your place and a chance to make up some ground.
Yeah, Courtney Whitson, a big part of the win over the weekend against Southern Miss. Lady Raiders.
She's a refuse to lose girl.
14 fourth quarter points, man.
Yeah, she just refuses to let them lose, and basically, you know, she's told him at halftime. Coach Ensel last night on his coach's show, he said we call, there's a timeout. We get into the huddle. Courtney starts talking, and she starts. But he said, but the good thing is she was saying everything that was on my mind, and so and any coach will tell you if the team polices itself, whether it's from a discipline standpoint or even, you know, in a coach them up kind of standpoint, you've got a really good team and you've got good parts there. So she's something else. And the two Russian girls really made the freshman, the big girl, she did some pretty amazing things. She runs the floor really well. And the other night she led the fast break on one drive in the fourth quarter against Southern Miss. So, you know, they've got a chance to do some nice things here over the next couple of weeks and help themselves out in the standings.
Yeah, when you know, have these rivalry games coming to your place, it's always, you know, it's always kind of pride takes over at this point. And this team is not, you know, after winning last year's tournament, going to the NCAA tournament, that sort of thing, maybe there's been a little letdown here and there, but fact is that, you know, it's about playing your best ball at the right time, and this week is a big week for the ladies to be able to start doing that.
Well, they're 5-2 right now in the league, but they're 13-4 overall, and that's with playing a really solid non-conference schedule. So I don't think there's any panic at all. I think they felt like they let one get away at FAU, and you know, they knew going the UTEP game was going to be tough because UTEP is one of the two better teams in the Western Division. So I don't think there's any panic at all in that group, and I think they feel like they're only with as many new pieces as they have. I think they feel like they will only get better as they get closer to the conference tournament.
And you've got FAU coming here middle of next month as well.
That's right. You'll have FIU coming here. You'll have Rice and you'll have everybody. You'll have Charlotte and Old Dominion coming the last week of the season. So those will be the other four really big games playing in your division. So it's you know, we're not even quite to the halfway point yet. We're getting close in the conference race, and both teams are in pretty good shape.
Anything else going on over there? That's huge.
Huge. I'll give you huge is signing day celebration coming up. Groundhog Day, February 2nd, will be a busy day. There will be the traditional Groundhog Day luncheon for Blue Raider baseball, which has, you know, one of the greatest menus of all time. It has ham hocks, white beans, cornbread, tomato salad, chocolate cake, and vanilla ice cream. That is to I used to say during that luncheon that we're here today to kick off the baseball season, and Coach Steve Peterson reminded me one time during the luncheon after he came up that there were no kickoffs in baseball. So it'll be the first pitch for the season, and then on the night of February 2nd, it's the signing day celebration, which will be at the Hendricks Stadium Club. You can contact the BRAA office if you'd like to be there to mix and mingle with the assistant coaches and Coach Stockstill. Part of that celebration will be a 1-hour TV show that we'll be doing on ESPN3 with myself, Coach Stock, and several players, and we'll go through all of the signees, show highlight videos, all that stuff. And as soon as that show is over, he hustles back over to the Hendricks Club and answers questions about what folks just saw on the TV show. So, again, if you'd like to be part of that, 615-898-2210 is the number for the Blue Raider Athletic Association office.
There you go. Chip Walters. Choose Chip. at ChooseChip on Twitter. The voice of the Blue Raiders. Appreciate you hanging out with us as always, each and every Tuesday around this time. So long as there's nothing else, going on like a ball game.
Which you all who's the big game in Southern Middle Tennessee tonight? What's the big matchup?
Well, actually, the biggest matchup is tomorrow night when Independence goes to your old stomping grounds. But Chris is going to Santa Fe and Cully tonight. So
always a good time to get out to
number
Cully.
5
Santa Fe.
Number
That's
5
right.
Santa Fe.
That's right.
How about that? Number 5 in the state.
That's great. That's terrific. And Independence in Central tomorrow night. That'll be good.
That will be good. You might want to make your way over.
Pulling from my man Ronnie Bailey's son, young Ronnie. He's having a good year.
Good ball right now.
Playing a good year. Really proud of him.
Chip, always appreciate it. Thank you so much, man.
See you, boys.
All right. When we come back, it's Top 5 Tuesday. Top 5 NFL coaching openings. So there's 9 of them. Which ones do we think are the best? So come back right after this on Main Street Sports Today.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in. It is Main Street Sports Today here on Top 5 Tuesday. Top 5 Tuesday is brought to you by our friends at Mid-South 5 Fitness. Style is still in the gang. SteelAthletes.com, STEEL athletes.com. Make sure to check him out at Steel Athletes on Instagram as well. 2 great locations, one in Columbia, one in Franklin, and he is making sure you are putting your best foot forward in 2022. The top 5 coaching openings in the NFL are subjective. A lot of factors go into it. So be curious to see where you guys fall in this because, some of these teams don't even have GMs right now, which means they're probably at the lower part of the list. But there are some places that you can win pretty quick. So I'm curious to see where you guys stand. Before we go to our top 5, what is the worst job right now?
The
Giants.
worst job.
Giants or Texans?
What about the Jags? I mean, I immediately
Got Trevor Lawrence.
You've got Trevor Lawrence, but
I haven't thought about the Jags. They actually might make my list.
oh goodness.
Wow, is it top 5? Okay.
I immediately eliminated the Giants, the Texans, and the Jags.
Well, I can tell you the Jaguars are my number 5.
Okay.
And the reason they are my number 5 is because expectations are like down here. They're not even on the scale, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that the Jags front office is as dumb as the Texans. And when your expectations are down here and you end up here, that's an improvement. So
that is one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is, I mean,
and you have Trevor Lawrence.
As
and
bad
Travis
as
Etienne.
as bad as the front office is or isn't, this is the team that hired Urban Meyer the last go round.
Yeah, but that doesn't. I mean, I don't think that necessarily limits the ceiling of where you can go with that team. I think, over 4 or 5 years, because they're going to have high draft picks for the next 3 or 4 just based off of the level of roster you currently have.
Yeah.
You're probably going to have top 10, top 12 draft picks. So I don't know. I feel like it's over time. And plus, well, it's Jacksonville.
Yeah.
The weather's a help there. That's all I'm saying.
It doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt. JP, who's your number 5?
Number 5. All right. I'm kind of got an honorable mention, a tie, so to speak. Jags are just outside. I do like Trevor Lawrence, but the lack of tradition and history there, I think, is shies me away from that. Kind of a cross between the Vikings and the Bears. The Bears have Justin Fields, so that's intriguing there. You've got a little tradition with the Bears. The Vikings have been quiet, but quietly middle of the road, consistent, and nearly breaking through. It's like they're on the edge. But it is a quarterback league. Justin Fields or Kirk D. Cousins. I guess you got to go with Justin Fields. So I say the Bears number 5.
Like I said, I immediately eliminated the Giants, the Texans, and the Jaguars from consideration.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes the Broncos my honorable mention because my number 5 is the Vikings. I think there's enough there to be competitive with the right coach. And I think with the turmoil that you've seen in Chicago, the turmoil you're getting ready to see in Green Bay, I mean, I'm not sure how much it would take for Minnesota to be a factor, and Detroit is Detroit. So my number 5 is the Vikings.
Fair enough.
It's interesting, because you did mention, one of my teams, and that is Denver Broncos. I'm going to go with them at number 4. I think their quarterback situation obviously is cause for concern, but
may not be for long.
There are exactly. I mean, we've seen Denver go out and get Peyton Manning before. So, depending on who your coach is, and the front office, I feel like John Elway specifically, they're willing to spend whatever money it takes to get a great quarterback if they can get one that's proven. Otherwise, they're just going to go with what they got, like Bridgewater or, something like that. So I'll be curious as to where they go. They'd probably be higher on my list if they had a better quarterback right now. But I think that and Denver's a great location in general. So location is playing key factor in this, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think Eric Bieniemy could be tops on the list, but when you're a legend in the state, kind of hard to go back to that state and risk that, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
Who's your number 4, JP?
Number 4, I'm going to go with the recently vacant, as of earlier today, the Saints. A lot of tradition. Now, you got a lot of quarterback concerns there, a good defense, but there is a great culture there. And the NFC South, Brady may be done. That's not a very difficult division. So I like the Saints.
My number 4, for the reasons that JP pointed out a bit ago, is the Bears. I mean, I think you've got the quarterback. Again, the NFC North is a very tumultuous and winnable division, I think. Whoever steps in there, I think has got a lot of pieces to work with, and they've got an opportunity to hit it quick. I like the Bears at 4.
Well, I have the Bears at 3 because they're going to hire Ryan Poles. They're going to hire Kansas City Chiefs executive director of player personnel as their new general manager, and that's a huge factor for me in this one. I think the Bears, with Justin Fields, are a team that is just on the cusp, and so I mean, if I'm a coach looking and I got options, I think the Bears are right there, in the top 3.
All right. My number 3, I'm going to head to Las Vegas. I think the Raiders, what they proved, kind of binding together. Carr's, I think, an above-average quarterback. He proved that he could get some things done. And, hey, they almost beat the Bengals. They beat the Titans. So, the Raiders aren't that far off. The big question, obviously, who's going to be the new GM there and where you go from there. But there's a lot to play with the Raiders. I like them at 3.
I'm going to go with the Dolphins at 3. I don't think they were that far off. I think getting rid of Flores was stupid, but I think whoever goes in there, again, has a lot at their disposal. Once the coach and the coaching staff get settled in, I don't think that's a bad situation there for a first-year coach. I like the Dolphins as my number 3.
They're actually my number 2, and I mean they went 10-6 2 years ago. They went 9-8 this year. To me, I feel like the Dolphins have everything that they need to be successful, and they showed that late in the year. So, whoever walks into that situation is going to be in a good spot.
That's a good one. I like Dolphins are mine too, for basically all those reasons. And they were close. I'm with you, Mo. It's interesting, the firing. The only thing I can think of is that they've got somebody already that is committed. You thought maybe Jim Harbaugh. It doesn't appear to be the case. So who knows? But there's a lot there. So there's my 2.
My number 2 is the Raiders.
Yeah.
And again, made the playoffs, almost beat the Bengals. They're set at quarterback. I mean, I think Carr is middle of the road, but I think, again, in that division, there's enough for them to be competitive pretty much regardless of who the coach is. So I like the Raiders.
The Raiders do not make my list because they're still in Las Vegas. And as we saw this year, trouble follows NFL players in Las Vegas because everybody wants a piece of them. They're not on my list. They also don't have a general manager, by the way. So that's also a problem. My number 1, New Orleans Saints. Not even close.
No quarterback.
They have Jameis Winston.
Again, no quarterback.
Wow.
We will disagree. We will agree to disagree.
We will. Who's your number 1, JP?
My number 1, I'm going with the Broncos because they're going to get Aaron Rodgers. So that's why, it's Peyton Manning all over again. Broncos.
My number 1 is the Saints because they've got Jameis Winston.
That was my reason too. I think Jameis Winston is a big part of that, and I think they're going to be really good next year, especially if somebody like Joe Brady comes in as an offensive coordinator. Anyway, that's going to do it for our show. We got 10 seconds left. So For Mo and JP, I am Chris Yao. Top 5 Tuesday, Mid-South 5 Fitness, SteelAthletes.com, and all that other stuff. We'll see you tomorrow.